Josh, how you doing?
Doing great. Happy Sunday, man. Happy Labor
We're
Day.
doing this for the soul. Happy Labor Day. Let's do that.
Exactly. Happy Labor Day.
Do it,
and happy anniversary.
Yeah, man. Thank you for saying that. Happy anniversary, 1 year anniversary. Oh my God. Time will tell. Yeah. Doing it for the soul. Okay. This song could play all day if I wanted to, but we have a show to do. So everyone and Jock too, we'll get to who my friend is in a little bit, everyone. But this is a special edition. I decided to take a break from Egypt, and we are doing a celebratory 1 year anniversary show for the Divine Lux Soul Podcast. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jock.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining me, man. So before I get to who you are,
I am excited to be here. I'm excited to celebrate you. And my immediate response was, of course, yes, I would love to be here to celebrate you. I've been a part of this journey. And so it's an honor and it's a privilege and it's a gift to celebrate with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, brother, for being here. Thank you. So we were kind of talking off camera, but this is official now. So this is episode 24, and I want to say there's a synchronicity here. Last September, actually September 4th, 2024, I hit that record button and started this whole virtual journey with all of you guys. And Jock, you've been there since episode 1. So doing this again on September 4th, 444, which is protection sign in numerology, I just wanted to kind of have everything synchronized together, that it has been a full year of a transformation. The reason why I want to do this today, I know it's the 31st today, but once this comes out, Jock, it's going to be, September 4th. So, which your birthday is like shortly after that.
Absolutely. Team Virgo.
Yeah, man. So go Virgos. For everyone out there, this, like I said, guys, episode 24. This is titled, what did I title this thing? No Destination, a Year at Drift. And the reason why I titled it that is because I wanted to just signify that this is a non-destinational journey in life. There is no endpoint on our adventures as we're sailing across, the deep abyss of our imaginations and our minds. It's a continuous, you're going. I mean, there might be some port of calls along the way, but there's no destination. So that's why we titled it this. And then, like we just saw or heard, my friend Jock is here. I've known you for a very long time. I was a twink when I met you.
Yes.
But Jock, introduce yourself. I've talked enough. I've introduced this episode. Who are you? Tell the folks what's going on with you. Who are you?
Absolutely. So, greetings, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be with you today. My name is Jacques Whitfield. I am a loving, open, and connected leader. I believe that I was put on the planet to help others become the best version of themselves. I have been on this journey on the planet for 61 years and some change, about to be 62 years.
60 where?
Exactly, right? No, but it's all about vibration. It's all about gratitude. It's all about energy. Al, I'm incredibly delighted and honored and humbled to be celebrating your anniversary issue. You and I have been friends for over 20 years. It's been a journey. And I love the theme of the conversation today because, at 61, about to approach 62 years on the planet, it really is all about the journey and not about a destination. And I think it's very poignant that we present no destination because much of us in the West have all been force fed. It's all about the destination. There's the destination of school and graduating from high school, and then the destination of college, and then the destination of first job, and then marriage, and all these things that we are fed that we should be doing, and we judge ourselves based on how well we're complying with that list or not complying with that list. And I think true liberation is all about freeing yourself from the expectations of others and really centering on what really serves you, what serves me, what serves us as human beings, and being those loving and connected individuals. And what do we create while we're here on the planet, right?
What do we create while we're here, right? Yeah, man. Jock, thank you for that introduction. I'm just gonna, you know what? We're being honest on this show. Let's just throw it out there. I believe I met you back in 2002. Is that correct?
2002.
Yeah.
We met online. Did we meet online?
We met online. Let's just throw this mess out there. We met online.
We met online. It was the early stages of online. Didn't we meet on?
It was early stages.
Right. Well, did we meet like on Adam for Adam or something like that?
It was Adam for Adam, and when we finally did meet up, I think it was that French Caribbean restaurant that's not there anymore.
Right,
in Sacramento.
Celestine's,
that's it. Thank you for reminding me.
Our first date, y'all.
It was our first date. And then that's when I realized I have run into you before, because if you guys aren't familiar with, Black families in Sacramento, especially the well-to-do ones, it's a very small circle. So I ran into Jock a long time ago.
Right, because my dad.
But anyway,
my dad knew your dad, and they were all like former military, and all of that. So, and
all
of
that
course,
stuff.
Folks, when I met Al, he was as stunningly beautiful then as he is today.
So were you. Very stylish. I mean, I knew about name brands, but you taught me that whole entire world of name brands and how to dress and all that kind of stuff. So it was wonderful.
I was a total label whore back then.
That's what I was reaching for, label whore. So yeah, everyone, that's our history. I think we were together for what, 2 years?
We were together
maybe 2.5
years.
2 years, about 2 years.
And it was a beautiful and from my perspective, I thought it was a beautiful journey. And the journey, I won't say it ended, but it transitioned when you decided to go back to college. Yeah.
Yeah, went back to college. Yeah, and thanks to you, you were general counsel at the time. Let's just throw it out there too for the.
Oh wow!
What school district was that? What school district was that?
That was a major urban school district in Sacramento, which we'll just keep them out of that, right?
We'll keep that there.
No,
you were doing that,
and
it was Grand Union. And then you told me about the Black College Fair, and that's how I wound up in Houston, Texas. If you guys didn't know that already,
at Texas Southern,
Texas University. That's where I went. Yeah. Then, we kind of departed. We went our different ways. And then I came on with United. I think we somehow reconnected when I came back to California. So like you said, and maybe this is just a thing for people out there to witness is, although our connection hasn't been, stable the whole entire time, it has its ebbs and flows. But I think, that's any human relationship, right? It just goes up and down. But it really just takes commitment for two people to say, you know what, I feel like you're a lifelong partner. I feel like you're a lifelong, assistant in my, evolution. So that's how I feel about you.
And
ever
I feel
since the day we met, that has been stopped.
I feel the same way about you. They say that people come into your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. You're one of those lifetime people. So you're right. Our journey went lots of different places, but I think the beautiful thing about you and we held space for one another. That the journey got to go and grow all the places. So there were times that we were maybe not as connected as we are now. And so, but again, that's totally normal because in life, there are
Totally
ebbs
normal.
and flows. And so whenever we reconnected or we re-engaged, it was a beautiful homecoming. It was a beautiful
I agree.
reconvening. And it was always celebratory. And it was
Yes,
always, I loved whenever you and I reconnected, it was always wonderful to see what you had created in the interim. And I think that's what real love is. I think that's what real
it
connection
is.
is allowing folks to grow, because every living thing is going to grow, it's going to evolve, it's going to change.
It's
And
going to
so if
evolve.
things,
Absolutely.
right, and if things don't change, they die, right? So I'm happy to say that our energy has not died. It's only
It has
gotten
not.
better, it's gotten stronger. And I'm excited about this podcast. And so
Me too, man.
what was the incentive for you, even because I know you as a deeply spiritual person, but I would
Yeah.
love for you to share what was it that finally made you say, I have something to offer the world. I'm going to use this platform and I'm going to share my knowledge and my journey. What was that like for you?
The turning point was actually earlier in 2024, like in February. I have been doing a lot of silent growth, just to myself. I told no one about it. And I went to a workshop at my yoga studio. It was called Miss Mandalas and something else. But the workshop, at the end of the workshop, our teacher was just like, how do you want to spend your spiritual energetic energy? And at the time I thought nothing of it. I'm like, what does she mean by spiritual energy? Because I was still coming into my own power, my own I am. And so later on, I started probably around May, I started getting like you know podcast episodes coming through to YouTube. Other people started talking about podcasting, and I was like, well, maybe I could do it. What do I have to say? Because I was just, if you know myself and my family, they're very private people, and I was taking on that same thing. Well, I was just gonna live a quiet life, do go to yoga, do the gym, do dishes, just the usual human stuff, without actually making my mark out there in the virtual world. And then that one month in August of 2024, from Denver to Indianapolis, that's when I got that word from that passenger that I need to do this. And my whole entire spiritual team was behind it. And that's when I learned about my spiritual team. And yeah, something that night back in September wouldn't let me go to bed. So, and it spawned this whole entire I guess series. Now we could say series. I just thought it was just going to be a one-off thing, and I told my guides that I did it. But to answer your question, I honestly didn't think I would have anything to say. I really
Wow.
was like that. I don't have nothing to say. There's nothing for me to share. And then, as I was
Can
doing
I
the
stop
shows,
you for a second there,
what's
because
up?
you've had such a colorful life, right? And through all of your
Yeah,
experiences, your personal experiences, your
yeah,
family experiences, excuse me. So I find that intriguing that someone like you would say that you have nothing to say, when
yeah,
I look at you and I'm like, oh my God, you've got so much to say and so much to share. And I'm wondering,
yeah,
is there a way that you incorporate that feeling or that experience into the work that you do? Because I would imagine there are many of your viewers and many people out there who feel that they may not have anything to say, and yet you have these powerful lived experiences that are teaching tools and guides and gifts. So
yeah.
how have you used that experience to now share with others, in a greater and more meaningful way, in terms of
Um,
finding your voice, and how do you support others in finding their voices?
that's a very good question. My response to that would be is I evolved myself, or I evolved my thoughts to thinking that I'm a very unique being. I'm a very unique human being, very unique soul. And although all of us we can have the same experiences or different experiences, but what I want people to realize and what I actualized too was you have to understand that you are an individual, you are special. Everything that comes out your mouth, everything that you think of, everything is inside of you, everything's inside of your soul is a very unique pattern. So I don't want people to think that, they have nothing else to say like I did. I want to say you're kind of downplaying who you are, but when you start to just realize that you're bigger and your thoughts are more and more impactful and powerful, can you start to say, okay, I have things to say, I have things to share? Because again, we're unique individuals, we're unique souls out here dreaming. And once I started to dream big, here we are.
And so along
Dreaming
those
big.
lines, and so thank you for dreaming big. I know a
Yeah,
lot
man.
of people dream big, but a lot of people don't act on those big dreams, right? So what was it for you that you've been doing all this big dreaming, right? You've been doing, and
Yeah.
and for me, my experience of you, Al, you've been a big personality ever since I've known you. You were big in
Yeah,
fitness,
man.
you're big in fashion, you're big in
Yeah.
every like dance. This man is an amazing dancer,
I
folks.
forgot
For
about
y'all who
that.
don't know, when I first met this human being and I saw him dance, I immediately fell in love. It's like it's that energy. So what was it for you, Al, that gave yourself permission to act on those dreams?
Have no fear, just no fear. That is,
Mm.
I know that's a kind of a general answer, but let me try to reach for something different. No fear
Are you
and
saying, and that's interesting about fear. Are you saying that you never had fear, or you decided to ignore the fear feelings and push through anyway?
that latter part. I decided to silence the fear, silence that, that physical mind that says, "Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you can't do that. Now you don't have nothing to say. Who are you to do this? Who are you to say that? Who are you to, have a YouTube channel?" And then, you know, that is just myself. And then let alone let it be some people that I was friends with at the time give me the same feedback. So it's just like when that does happen in people's lives, which is very more often than not, you start to talk yourself out of things that are destined for you. And to answer your question, I had to just, silence myself from those people, silence the physical inner dialogue in my mind, and just put the episode together, record however it came out. It came out. So I hope that's a good question to inspire other people that, although there are a ton of podcasts out here these days, what you have to say is going to inspire someone. I don't care if you get 2 watches. Someone is listening to it. Someone's listening to your story, and people have been listening to my story, including you.
Of course.
So hopefully that gives people some hope that,
Absolutely. So
your
let me
story is
ask you
very unique
this,
and special.
Al. So what is your, and this may sound like a weird question, I'll explain. What
Okay.
is your relationship with perfectionism? And here's why I couched it that way. Some people
Okay.
think in order to do a podcast, write a book, do any of these things, you've got to be so perfect and you've got to be so on it and everything's got to be just right. And you just alluded earlier to being comfortable with how it looks, that the process gets to look a different way. So for you, and I know even for my own self, that has held me back. Of course, as a Virgo, you have this classic perfectionism thing and the thinking that if it
Yeah.
doesn't look exactly this way and if it doesn't look like
Yeah.
XYZ like your podcast, then I'm not going to do mine. So how did you free yourself from that? First of all, was that an issue? And if it
It
was,
was
how
an
did
issue.
how did you free yourself? Yeah, how'd you free yourself from
It
that?
was an issue, and I'll tell you why. You know, well, not people know. You know this, but not everyone who's out there listening knows. My star sign is Capricorn, and Capricorns, what they teach us is we're stable, we're dependable, and we're perfectionists all at the same time. So dragging that into this this podcast, it just wasn't working. Like, we'll talk about the episodes in a little bit, but you'll see, like, if you guys notice, like the first couple of episodes, I was still holding back from what I wanted to say because, just like you said, Jock, I was trying to be perfect, and then let's throw in this brown skin tone that we have. I was just like, I have to be super excellent because I am brown, but during the show, I had to realize and actualize that I am perfect as I am. That's actually one of my morning mantras. I am perfect as I am, and I am enough. That's another one I had to actualize, is I am enough. And when people start to realize that you are enough, can you start to be bold, be excellent, all on your own without having this, ideal version of perfection? You have to re-actualize what perfection looks for you. And again, just keep reminding yourself, I am perfect as I am. And that would take people far. It's taken me this far. Hopefully that will help you out too. You're perfect as you are.
I love that. So I actually have a bracelet. I was looking for it on my desk, but the bracelet says I am enough. And that is one of my daily mantras as well, because I've lived with that. That whole concept of perfectionism, and certainly as a Virgo, that's one of our hallmarks, right? That we're super perfectionist. And so when I've learned in my journey that perfection is an illusion. Perfection
is a very huge illusion. It doesn't exist. Progress, it's all in here.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so when you let that go, you are free to create, you are free to explore, you're free to pursue those heart, that heart journey, so
that's it.
But I know a lot of people, Jock. Yeah, I was just going to say, I know a lot of people are inspired by what you do, but just feel, they look at you and say, oh, well, I can't do that because, and again, they grab onto a limiting belief or something, right? And tell themselves, I can't do this because, and they'll want to, find some meaning or reason to disqualify themselves when, everyone is qualified to pursue.
Everyone's qualified to do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be on video camera, but it can just be showing up in people's lives for inspiration, and let others know it's okay to fumble. It's okay, not to get it right, whatever. Guess what? It's an experience. It's an adventure. And you're going to get there eventually. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Jock, we've been talking for 20 minutes. I am thirsty. Guess what I'm ready for?
Hopefully a nice glass of wine.
Yeah, man. I am ready for some non-burned champagne.
I love it.
I think about Dominic Devereaux. Right. But this is a champagne, guys. Some people asked me about it. It's from the John Charles Boisset collection. If you guys don't know that brand, he's out of San Francisco and mainly out of France. So this came from Burgundy. I still sell these wines. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Yep, there it is, number 21.
There you go.
Look, wait. Move it over.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to pop that open, and then we'll start getting into the episode.
All right, sounds great. I'm ready to do a virtual cheers.
Okay, let's do this thing, and then we'll start.
You're drinking a French Burgundy. I'm drinking a California Red. This is this is an Old Vine Zinfandel from.
Yeah. You know what? Lodi has. I'm going to say this too. Lodi, if you guys don't know this or not, Lodi has one of the best Merlots and Zinfandels because of its climate. It's really hot out there, so yeah. I love that.
Cheers.
So, virtual cheers to 1 year Adrift. No destination.
There you go.
All right, so let's get into the episode. We've done the introduction.
Yes.
All right, everyone. So, episode 24. What has happened over this last year? Well, I'll say this. As everyone's ship director, I came up with that as I was meditating. Ship activity director. I've done 23 videos with all of you guys. You saw me dancing on camera a couple of times. We did some singing before. We changed podcast names. You guys know my first 12, 13 episodes was Cosmic Mission, but we changed it to Divine Lux Soul. We've had video freezes. We've had fumbles, bumbles, darkness. I was just... So this is, again, Jock, showing people that it's okay not to be perfect.
The beauty of the journey. The beauty of the journey.
Yeah, man, we had bad lighting, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
Still here, still doing this. Another thing people haven't noticed is I was stretching my ears over the last couple of years. So, yeah, we did that journey too. So a lot has happened between that last year. I would say more of like a evolution. And I've taken all of you guys with my documented journey. Let's just say that. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say about what we've been through over the last year. And we've talked about how this whole entire thing was incepted a long time ago by a passenger. I don't know where she is right now, but I do want to say out there that thank you to that passenger. She encouraged me to press that record button a year ago, and then here we are with you. That being said, everyone, Jock, I have a few episodes in mind to highlight. I don't want to go through all of them. What do you think?
I'm ready to go with the flow. I have some episodes in mind. I also have some themes. So I am curious to see what you picked out, because I picked out some interesting themes for me. You're the host, so I will follow your lead, sir.
Okay, so I would say this. Just maybe let's flow with. I'll start first, and then you'll go second.
Okay.
But yeah, just whatever was an episode that that spoke to you, we'll do that, and then maybe we'll do an episode. Let's say a sleeper episode that people should have looked at but really didn't.
Okay.
We could do that. And then maybe just go through a few of the journeys or ask me why we did this or what this episode was about and da-da-da-da. So
do you want to start?
Let me see. Let me start off. I'll start. This is going to be cliche, but I'm going to start with episode 1.
Okay.
Only because the genesis of Awakening. And that was just mainly just to explain to everyone why I've been doing this whole entire series. And like I shared in the video, it had been like 2 years before press and record in 2024 that this episode was inspired. And that was just me rawly talking. Like, excuse me, I didn't have any notes. I didn't have any something written out. It was just me rawly talking on camera. So,
and I have to
that
tell
was
you,
episode 1.
I loved that. For me, in terms of watching someone pursue and attack and embrace their dreams, that was one of my favorite episodes. Was your first one, because you're starting. I feel like a gestation period. You've been birthing this venture, this project, right? And that was the baby. And so
that was the baby.
Those of us who've been involved with births are, hey, they are what they are. It's not clean, it's not perfect, but it's a beautiful process. And what comes from that is a new life. And so
very much so, man.
From that first episode was the birthing of a new life experience, of a new life journey. And for someone who is so close to me and means so much to me as you do, it was absolutely, I felt like I was there witnessing a birth. And that was perfect, because it was exactly the way it was supposed to be, without that was purely your creation, right?
Thanks for saying that. Absolutely agree with you on that, Jock. It was, you guys are witnessing the birth of, the last couple of years. It was just ready for it to come out into the physical form. Mm-hmm. And that's why I enjoy, highlighting episode 1. And thank you, Jock, for your interpretation, because I don't know what's going on, everybody. I cannot see the comments. I don't know what's going on. So it's just like, to actually hear feedback that that's exactly what the episode came across as to the viewer is amazing for me to hear that. So thank you for sharing it, because that's exactly what was on my mind when I was recording that episode.
So along those lines, so I loved that one. I also thought was interesting. A couple episodes after that, you did this discussion about heart versus feather. Remember that?
Yeah.
So
I remember that one.
The title just caught me. I was like, whoa. And typically for me, so folks, I'm Al, there is a lot that connects me and Al. One of the things that connects us is our love for health and wellness. For me, my wellness gets to look a lot of different things. Since the pandemic, I've been less a gym person and been far more outdoors, enjoying nature and all that. So now I have a wellness practice that includes gym, some yoga, but every day I'm always out in nature. And so typically when I'm out in nature doing my gratitude hikes, I'm listening to podcasts, and so that's when I will typically listen to Al's podcast, when I'm out on the trail doing my thing. And so this episode of heart versus, I'm like, wow, that's interesting. So and then going through the episode, it was brilliant. So for me, tell us the secret sauce. How did you put that together? Those concepts, and how did you create that beautiful coming together, in the middle at the end?
You mean that beautiful 3-hour episode?
Because you had a lot to say.
A lot of that was unscripted. Well, I'll say this. Thank you so much for saying that, Jock. Because that was a major episode for me. I felt like it was a turning point in the series. We had talked about a lot of stuff before, but that's why I decided to start a new season, was with the heart versus the feather. And that came to me randomly. I was at work flying to Chicago, and then that's when I was meditating, and that's when the heart versus feather came through. And during that time, I was also earning my yoga certification. That journey was happening simultaneously. So that's how I was able to mix, the Egyptian Hermetic philosophy with the Buddhist Hindu philosophies. And then when I started to compare, what the writings were saying, I'm like, it's the same thing. I don't care what religion or what it looks like, how it sounds. Once we start looking at the bare bones or the bare structure of what it's saying, it's the same thing. Now, to answer your other part of that question, how did it all come together? It was random. I was assembling the episode. Like, I had written everything out, and I didn't notice what I was doing, but I was like the Atman versus the Man, like Atman versus man, let's just say that. And I didn't realize the pattern of how I was writing it out. And then when I looked at it, I'm like, the judicial system in America, that can work on how we can keep this a trial, kind of like what you're used to doing in law, is keep it like a law episode to where we dissect, or I prosecute one and then I defend the other. So that was the whole gist of the show. And I think that was a good balance on how to mingle the information of how, when we go through our lives and we're not actualizing that, our heart consciousness carries a lot into the spiritual world. That was really how I was able to bridge the gap between the two, that there's no difference between the physical world and the astral world. And I'm glad that came across to you that way, because that's exactly how I wanted it to sound. Now, did I want 3 hours? No. But it took about 3 hours for me to talk about everything, because like you just mentioned, I had to get through Egyptian culture, then I had to get through the Hindu culture. And it just took a lot for me to, blend it all together so it made sense to all of you guys out there. So,
and one thing
thank you, Jock.
Yeah, absolutely. So Al and I are both history aficionados. We're both history majors in college. Yes. Not at the same time, obviously, because I'm more seasoned than my younger friend Al. But what I would say, Al, it takes you take the time it gets to take so that you get to explain the concepts fully. And there's so many
Yes.
of us in the West that don't fully understand. Well, let me just say it this way. Many people in the United States get their history from Hollywood, right? So
They do.
We watch the Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston or Cleopatra with
Yes.
Elizabeth Taylor, and we really
Right.
believe, not we, but
Yes.
there are those of our colleagues and neighbors and friends who really believe that Egyptians were white and, with British accents. And so when you
Hmm.
look at and what I appreciate about what you did, you went back to not just Egypt but to Kemet, and you went back and
Yes, that's the original name
unpacked.
for it.
Right, you went back and unpacked those cultures and philosophies, and there's a lot there, and it's just like even when
It's a
you
lot.
unpack, the Indus River Valley civilizations in South Asia, India, and you're looking at Hindu culture and other types of cultures. There's a
Yeah,
lot there, and most of
it's a
us
lot
in
there.
the West probably get the Cliff Note version of at best about what the rest of the world was really doing, right? We start with Greece and
Yes.
Rome, like that was
Yeah.
the starting point where it was
Like that's
Africa,
it.
it was
Right.
Kemet, it was Ethiopia, it was
Yeah.
Nubia that was the cradle of
Yep.
civilization. And so
Hmm.
so for me, as a nerd and as a history aficionado, I appreciate you taking the time that you took.
Well, thank you, Jock, for saying that. Cheers. Yeah, thanks for saying that. That was I was grappling with that. I was just like, do I throw in the history lesson? And I'm like, no, I gotta throw it in there so it makes sense. Like you said, because we've all been through school. Our world history section is like this big,
It's
and then our
abysmal.
American section is this big. And with the American section is more about slavery than anything else. And so I'm like, these people don't know what's going on. They really have to know how this world history was way more ancient than, like you just mentioned, this American culture or the Greek and the Roman cultures, because a lot of their culture was borrowed from Egypt, was borrowed from the Mesopotamians, was borrowed from India. So it's just like, no, 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 I can't say borrowed. It was hijacked.
Culturally
To use that word.
misappropriated is what I'd like to say.
So
Yes,
that's it. It was misappropriated. So
absolutely.
yeah, that was a really good episode, and I really hope a lot of people have started to re-examine their emotions, re-examine their thoughts, re-examine how they treat people, because it's all being recorded. And that was the main gist of that show.
Hmm.
That episode was that it's time to start re-examining and fine tweaking and letting people know that you can restart in life. It doesn't have to
Hmm.
be, when you're on your deathbed. Today can't be that day to start treating yourself better and then start treating other people all the same time, and that scale is going to balance out eventually.
Hmm. No,
Yeah.
I thought you did that
So,
well. Another one I thought that you did really well, and I love the contrasts that you create even in your titles, because I'm like, ooh, this is going to be a good one. So like another one that I was like, ooh, was the title "Spiritual Sleep Walking Sloth." Remember that?
I love this slap episode. Oh my god.
Yeah. So
You're in my
that one,
head.
I even sent that to my mom. I was like, "Oh, this sounds like something she would have preached back during her day."
Oh my god. Yes,
so,
the sloth
I love
series.
that contrast. Tell me how you can, because that was a really powerful episode as well. So,
Hell yeah, man.
share with us, if you will, the magic behind that.
The magic behind that was my sister. The one that lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah.
Alita,
Elizabeth. She watches the show
Elizabeth.
too.
Oh wow! Hey,
Elizabeth
Elizabeth,
was the
hey,
one
Elizabeth.
that, hey, shout out to my sister.
Absolutely.
We were on the phone one day,
Uh huh.
and it was around that time I recorded the episode. I think it was around like November, but we were in the phone lines 2 weeks before that, and she was just like, I don't know. I told her, I said I'm looking for something else to talk about, and she was just like, you should talk about the sloth. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Someone else should be talking about that. And that's when she said, Al, we've been through so many sermons, so many people talking about this. She's like, I feel you can find a different way to do it. And so she was like, I encourage you to find a way to do it. It took me a few weeks to do it. And the secret sauce was putting my own self into the episode. Everything that we talked about in somnus or sleep was everything I was experiencing. The physical download of Al, that was in the episode. My religious beliefs, that was downloaded. My educational system, that was downloaded. My tribe's, what's it called? Thoughts and emotions were there. And then, other childhood, traumas were there as well emotionally. I know a lot of people would say, oh, trauma is physical. No, it's not. It's actually emotional too. And so that episode was really a lot of me telling people, once I actualized how I was shedding my sleepwalking, was I able to put together and generalize it for other people. And so that was the real sauce behind that episode. And I was really proud of that one.
Yeah,
and it really did change the.
That one. Yeah. No, I was. I mean, Al, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. So I see what you are building, and I think it has even special relevance and significance when I know you, and so I know your journey, and I see you. I see you breaking forth with that, inertia and velocity to create a new paradigm and new systems and just a new narrative and a new story and a new journey for yourself. And that, I think, is so powerful. There's one other one that I've got to ask you about because, again, we're history majors. That saying, I think, therefore I am. Is that John? I think that's John Locke. And so you've
I think it was
an episode, I breathe, therefore I prosper. And I'm like, so first of all, as a nerd, that was pretty fucking good. Wow. Like,
that was a good episode.
Yeah. So, but again, to take that concept from the Enlightenment period is what some historians call it. Then to go to that next level about I breathe, therefore I breathe. And it's really interesting for me because breath it's important in yoga, it's important in wellness, it's important in life, just as grounding. Even what I teach in the human resources management space is the importance of breath and grounding ourselves. And so to me, I was like, damn, it was genius. That how you have these experiences with genius and you bring it to the screen. And so what was the magic behind that?
I'm so glad you brought that up because that was actually on my list for a sleeper episode. Okay. I want to say sleeper because it didn't get a lot of views, and I'm glad we're highlighting this again because everything that was talked about, they need to go back and listen to that one.
Yeah.
What inspired that was the book, The Art of Contemplation by Richard Rudd. I was trying to see if I could pick it up from the library over there, but that's what started the episode, was reading that book. And I was reading that book around the time I was creating my first 2 episodes on the show. Mm-hmm. And it took me a while because it's like 99 pages, but what Richard talks about in that book is a lot. And I was just like, well, how do I put this on screen? And so, like you said, I start taking in a lot of my yoga practices. I started taking a lot of my, Buddhist philosophies. And I was just like highlighting things that he was talking about. And that was the secret behind that one, was the book, The Art of Contemplation. And what hopefully resonated with people was taking pauses in life is where it's at. The pauses between a breath, a pause between not doing something, a pause between, let's say you get stuck at a red light. That's a universal pause. So, or you're delayed on doing something, you're late. These are all universal signs that you weren't supposed to be somewhere. And when you take a pause, like you just said, Jock, take a breath, say thank you to the universe, and then you move forward with gratitude. And that was the main gist of what I wanted to get across to the viewers, was taking pauses in life, intentional ones, and then also non-intentional ones.
And for me, Al, I broadened that because, again, going back to the journey analogy, right? And I've never been 61 before, prior to turning 61.
Right.
So they're new things. And for some folks, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to retire and I'm going to do this and I'm going to, well, for me, I had a different calling. I don't want to slow down. I feel like I've got all this energy, and there are things that still are on my get to do list that I get to do. And so it's okay if we don't know the next step. It's okay to take a pause. Right. And so
it's
that's
totally
what
okay.
that's what I took from that's what I took from this episode, because again, for my journey in real life, I retired for 35 days. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit around and do this. I want to do some fun shit. I'm like, sorry, Pers, we get to do something else, and I opened my own consulting agency, and having the time of my life, and so it gets to look however we want it to look. And so that's another reason I really appreciate your platform, is because if there is a mantra that you have, you meet folks where they are. And what you do is give us permission. You give us permission to identify the life of our dreams and go get it. And
go get it. That's it. Go get it.
And I love that and of course you're the perfect cheerleader for that, which is another reason I love your platform and I love your podcast, and I love your journey and all that you're doing. And I think that more people get to experience you that way. But I think oftentimes we just need to give ourselves permission, because so often we're going by what is expected, or I look this way, I'm of this different generation, this is my gender, these are my abilities, and therefore I am expected to do this type of behavior. And you kind of blow that all up in a beautiful way, and I appreciate that.
Good. That was the whole that was my whole intent behind that episode. And I'm really glad that you watched it, because I wasn't gonna do it, and as you saw, it was it started in winter. Obviously, we had fallen back. Mm-hmm. There was light, then there wasn't light. It was anyway. The episode came out, whatever, but the content was very important. So, thank you for watching the episode. I felt like that was one of my sleeper episodes. Yeah. So, if you guys are watching this, go back to The Art of Contemplation and watch it.
Absolutely. And Al, can you talk about the series that you did on the third eye? I've always been fascinated by the third eye, and I know that's one of your. Wasn't that one those series, the Third Eye Awakenings? Weren't they some of your highest rated shows, or no?
Yes, it was. It was. It really was a highly rated show. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I know I've known about the third eye for 20 years. I've been researching and focusing on that. I loved your treatment of it. But if someone's just watching us for the first time and they're like, oh, third eye, what would be like 3 key takeaways that you would want folks to know in relationship to understanding the power and the presence of the third eye, and what it does, and where folks get to grow from that?
Yeah, I would say a few points about the third eye. First of all, the third eye is where you live.
Mm.
And all the research I've been research and books that I've actually been reading and doing the scientific work, especially with Joe Dispenza,
I love
the
Joe
pineal
Dispenza. Oh
gland.
my
I think
God,
we
we
talked
got
about
to
this
talk
in one of my
about Joe in a
episodes.
minute. I love
Me
him.
too.
Yeah.
we're
Yes.
talking about Joe.
Yes.
He's taking what shamans, other doctors, other Egyptian cultures, in Hindu cultures, he is taking all the information and making it scientific. And that's what I like about his work is he's bringing all that knowledge into the physical, like this is where you live. So
Right.
when people talk about third eye, people got to understand this is your astral self right here.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start to tap into your astral self, do you start to, drop this limited physical uh, darkness we call the body or the vessel? And this is where you can communicate not only with yourself, but you can project off into what does he call it? The quantum field.
The quantum field.
That's how
Right.
we communicate to, yeah, that's how we communicate to our spirit guides, our spirit teams, God. So I think I talked about this in the faith and religion episode. When we're brought up to pray, they always say you can say it out loud or you can think it. That your third eye is where you communicate to the Supreme Lord, and I think that is missing a lot in Western cultures. The Eastern cultures get it, but like you were just mentioning in previous episode, the West, we often are disconnected to this thing. But when we start to reconnect with ourselves, it starts to come back online. Like I think I told you earlier today, like I was warming up my laptop to this episode. It's the same vibration up in there. When you guys start to meditate more, we start to talk to ourselves more. It starts to bubble up, and you start having these vivid dreams. These vivid, what's it called? You get wording downloading to you. You also get visions, and that's what I was reaching for. And this is, and I think you guys probably saw it in this series is my third eye has come back online, and all these episodes, they just kept getting, I wouldn't say better and better and better, is because, like you just said, um, I was tapping into the third eye. Does that answer your question? I can ramble forever.
No,
Does that
absolutely,
answer your
absolutely.
question?
And so, no, absolutely. And so, in simple terms, is the third eye, is that is it the soul? Is it the window to the soul? Is it spirit? Is it our inner being? Is it a combination? Because I've never been able to and I felt that your episode was the best at defining this is
Yeah,
what this phenomenon is and this is how it
yeah.
functions. Um, but in a simple like recap, one sentence, do you consider the third eye the soul? Is it
It's
the
the
window
soul.
to the, it's the soul.
No, no, it's literally your soul, and your eyes are the viewers. And can I share something? Because I didn't share this in
Please.
the episode.
Yeah.
The reason why I knew this is where we live is because I was working with a past life regression doctor
Mhm.
during that episode or
That
previous
is
to the
so
episode.
fascinating.
It was very
So
fascinating.
your
I got,
past life.
yeah.
Oh, that's
I, I, I
awesome. Please say
I
more.
dived into a few past lives. So what really spawned the episode was after working with the doctor on Friday in the afternoon, I went to yoga. I came back. I turned my phone off. I was very quiet night. I went to bed, and I literally, kid you not, the reason why I knew this is where I live, I felt a warm sensation at the tail of my spine where the root chakra is. And I felt
Mm.
like something literally ripped me out of my body. And guess what came with it? My consciousness. Like everything, I mean, it just started in the back, went all the way to my head, and then I was pulled out my body. And that's when I started flying. So that's what led me to believe that this is our consciousness, because I was looking down at this physical body, but I was actually floating around. So I'm like, okay, this is where we live, is because once I was out of my body, I looked at my physical self and I'm like, this is just the clothing. Because it doesn't animate without the
Right.
third eye or without yourself in there. So that is what I wanted to say in the episode, but I felt it wasn't the right time. So that's how I came to that conclusion, or that actualization of where we actually live is in your third eye and down your spinal cord. That is where we live. All this other stuff is our sensory. This is how our physical body. This is how our souls experience things, is through this body. But in actuality, it doesn't touch anything. It's just our physical body. But we live in our spinal cord. So that is the real tea on how I was able to explain that, was because I had my own out of body experience, and then I realized where I actually live, where we all actually live.
So may I ask, is astro projection, is that a practice of yours now, or is that something that you're developing, or is that available to all of us?
It's available to everyone. I'm still practicing it. I haven't nailed it, only because I haven't been able to have a controlled, like, out of body experience, to where I can lay down and then I pop out of my body. It's a very random thing right now. Like when my uh, inner dweller, or my wise one, as my therapist called it, when it wants to talk to me, do I start having these astral projection experiences, like randomly. It doesn't happen all the time, but I would like to have it more controlled. And it's accessible to all of us, honestly. Yeah, we can all do it.
So Al,
What's up?
Why is this important? Why is this important, especially given now with everything that's going on? We see what's going on in this country. We see what's going on in different parts of the world. Why is tapping into the spirit realm beneficial and important for us, from your perspective?
It's beneficial and important for us is because there's so much love on the other side. And I want people to realize that there is more love, more unconditional love on the other side. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be fearful of, because we're going to be there anyway one day. And that's what I want people to take away from the series and the episodes is there's unconditional love. You are unconditionally loved. We're all unconditionally loved. And I understand that we need more of that in this world. And when more of us can awaken ourselves, when more of us can, quote unquote, unplug from that matrix of fear and hatred and separatism and division, can we all start coming together as light spirits, and then we start a new earth? So I don't know if you heard that before, but that is essentially where this new earth starts, is with all of us coming together, having these wonderful spiritual conversations. Can we start to change the world and try to at least show people that there's nothing but unlimited love on the other side? Yeah.
I love that. That was so well said. Thank you. Because
Thank
again,
you.
I believe that is why I am on this journey. It's for greater love connections. I believe that love is going to be healing, and we're dealing with issues that are so profound. The only solution is love, because you can't bullshit people with, oh well, we're going to compromise and we're going to do the old ways of thinking, the old ways of being, the old
Correct
paradigms just no longer serve us. And
they don't, and we're seeing them crumbling every day.
Absolutely. And that's what I think that we're really witnessing in the United States and all over the West, really, is the crumbling of the old colonial system, the old imperial system,
Yes.
capitalism. It's not working, y'all. It was
No,
never working.
It never worked.
Yeah, and now, it was very interesting, my perspective of World War II, when I was in my 20s versus my perspective of World War II in my 60s. in my 60s, I now know it was a colonial war.
That's all it was.
Colonial war. And when you think
that's all it was.
You had three white men. You had Churchill and FDR and Stalin get together at Yalta and decide what the world would be like. And the people in the world that looked like them were only 7% of the population. So 93% of the world was not represented in that conversation, which of course is gonna, go to hell in a handbasket when you set up these systems that are supposed to support.
Of course it did.
The patriarchy and misogyny and, all those colonial constructs.
Because like you just said, Jock, with that great history lesson of how this went down, we are still under those same laws. We are still functioning under that Churchill rule. And I'm going to supersede that with World War I, the Treaty of Versailles with Europe. We are still under that one too. Yeah. And it's just like this stuff isn't working out. Yeah. And these men are long gone.
Long gone.
Long gone. And we're still, like you said, these colonial powers are still vying to stay important. And we're seeing this all play out in real time.
Yeah. And that's how I perceive what's going on in the United States, even. This is just the last gasp of white supremacy. So, of course, they're going to come with all of the venom and fervor of attacking everything, reproductive rights.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, rights for women, rights for the LGBTQ community, rights for immigrants, rights for African Americans, rights for indigenous folks. They're coming after all of it because it's the last gasp.
We're not having it.
Yeah. Oh, we're not.
But they're trying to. They're really trying to.
In the words of the former vice president, we're not going back. So
we're not going back. We're not going back there.
Yeah. So
I love that, man.
Why I think that this platform is so helpful, because it allows, rather than tapping into that dialogue, especially where their mantra is, where it leads, it bleeds. That's not healthy.
Exactly. And that's not healthy at all.
Exactly. So we get to have this new dialogue where we get to connect and engage on a spiritual plane and on that universal plane that we can see cosmically what's going on. Yes. And for me, it gives me great peace. It gives me great peace. It gives me great assurance. It gives me great confidence. And it gives me joy, because when I do the other thing, your podcast brings me joy. I always, there are things I get to think about. There are things I get to reflect on. There's always homework assignment. There's always, deeper and farther and deeper and farther and deeper and farther. And with CNN or any of my other, outlets of choice, just not there.
Yeah.
No shade on CNN. Or
no, not at all.
Yeah. If I would throw shade, I'd throw shade at Fox, but
Thank you for saying that, man. Thank you. It's all by design. All it is. It keeps us in fear and separate from each other.
Yeah. So
that's all the news is for.
What are you planning, and as you ideate and as you dream big? What would you like to create for your community of followers? What are you contemplating in the future?
Without getting into too much of it, because I've written it out already, but I'd like to offer like retreats for people to come in and I'll talk a little bit, but I want to offer people like yoga, breath work, want to offer people a time to just be with themselves, turn those phones off, don't bring them at all. And we just go somewhere. I have a few friends here in San Diego that I can call upon and say, hey guys, let's do a retreat and go somewhere. So that's something I would like to offer to everyone eventually.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign me up for that.
Okay, I'll let you know when it goes down.
Definitely.
Let's see. One of my episodes that I really enjoyed doing was episode 3. Did you watch that one?
I did.
The hidden messages in water.
Yeah. Oh my God. So not only did I watch it, I had the book long time ago. I couldn't find the book, so I downloaded it. I bought it on Amazon, downloaded it again. It, oh my God. I use
Fucking
that
amazing.
book
See your
in a
language.
lot of my trainings.
Amazing.
It's amazing. And so for the
The
benefit of your folks, maybe if you guys are watching us and you haven't read the book, it talks about the power of words that can be demonstrated through water. That water holds the molecules of life, and that you can speak positive. You can offer positive words, and they would freeze the water molecules, and they would have one different shape, and then they would say negative things or harshful things and freeze those water molecules, and they look completely different, right?
very different. Very different.
That is one of Al. I tell you, you've had some really wonderful episodes. That is one of my favorite because the hidden
Mine
messages
too.
in water. It's so simple. The book is so easy to read, right?
Very easy to read.
But you walk away with this profound knowing and awareness that words and energy really do matter.
Yes.
Really,
I want to say that book, it really awakened my spiritual powers, was because I had no idea, like you just said, Dr. Emoto even recorded any of this. And what he did record, and you saw the pictures in the downloaded version and probably an episode, when we say I love you to water, this crystalline structure just starts forming. But if we ignore it or say I hate you to it, does it start to dissipate? And most of our water, especially like you're probably shaking your head, yes, our bottled water is very angry. And I don't know, I think I put this in the episode to where I write I love you on like a piece of paper, and I wrap it around the bottle. Even in Dr. Emoto's book, he said, even if you put I love you on the bottle, does these helpful crystalline structures start forming so it can evolve the body? It heals the body. And that was the main takeaway from that series, is like when we speak to our water, the water starts to respond because
Absolutely.
it used to walk with God. Let's just say it. And it remembers what love feels like. It remembers what love felt like. So when we talk to love to it, it starts to reflect how it was when God was walking the waters of this planet. So that was a major takeaway from that episode. So hopefully you guys, if you haven't watched it, watch it. Episode 3.
And Al,
Jock.
the takeaway for me is if we can be intentional about being kind to water, how much more intentional can we be about being kind and compassionate and empathetic and understanding to another human being?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so just powerful. And
powerful, man.
Yeah. And really, really using that as a tool for self-reflection, because think how, especially, if you're in, and again, we're both from California, we both live in California. And so we know how precious water is, right? Even though we're a coastal state, Pacific Ocean is huge, but we know how precious water is, especially in a state that can have, wildfires and, all the things, right? And the climate being what it, and so if we can presence being loving, kind, generous, supportive to something that water is living. I'm not going to say it is inanimate.
It's living.
It is very
it's living.
But how are we taking that same energy, care, compassion, concern for living human beings? As opposed to not doing that. So, no,
Jock, everything you said is valid too, man. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna also say this too. I don't think I really touched on this a lot in the episode, but I'm gonna say it now. Even treating ourselves with kindness and respect and love, because our bodies are 70% water. So if we never say I love you to yourself in that mirror every day, those crystalline structures within your body are never going to start forming to heal itself. So that was another thing I didn't really highlight in an episode, but we're doing it now. Tell yourself I love you. Your body's going to start coming back online. It's going to start rejuvenating itself.
Yeah.
Like you.
And
You're
and I'll
60.
tell you, Al,
I
I don't
mean,
know about
60
you.
where?
Yeah, but every time I do that exercise where I look in the mirror and I say, I love you, I'm proud of you, I'm so proud of how far you come. Of course, not a dry eye in the house, right? I always
No.
end up,
And it
you know,
shouldn't
oh,
be.
yeah. But think about that. And in terms of, even folks who want to find loving relationships with another human being, how
Yes,
can you
please say
create
this.
that
Yeah.
when you don't even have it with yourself,
There you go.
right?
That is the
So
baseline right there.
yeah, no, that is one of my favorite mantras, and it
Yeah.
always gets me in the right energy that I get to be in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And again, like, thank you for sharing that. Especially out west. Again, it's this disconnect with us and our bodies. We think they're telling us that our bodies are already broken. And I'm just like, no, it's not. You
Yeah.
just haven't said I love you to it yet.
Yeah.
But when you say I love you, like you just said, Jock, watch the
Yeah.
miracles that come out of it.
And that's
Yeah.
where I think that certain spiritual practices need to make up their minds, because there is a particular spiritual practice that says you're made in the image and likeness of the Creator. And in the same breath says, but you're imperfect and you're full of original sin. And it's like, which one? It can't be, it's
Which one
not
is it?
both. Which one
Yeah, no, it's
is it?
not.
There's
Yeah.
one that is leading with a lot of fear language and control
Yes.
language. There's one that is leading with love language. My invitation is, let's just lead with love, right?
Which brings me to the Fedele et Religio episode of the Sloth series. Remember that one, the faith and religion?
Oh my
That's
goodness. I
exactly what I
remember
was
that.
talking about in that one.
Yeah.
Was we have to make a decision. Either we're going to lead by faith and love, what God gave us, or am I going to go to this religious dogma that's going to tell me I'm a sinner, I'm
Yeah.
fear, and da 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 da. That was that episode too.
Yeah.
Good lead.
Hey, man, we've been doing this
Good
for
lead into the
20
episode.
years. So I'll tell you, Al, this to me was the classic Al Harvin episode, because it was that I felt, to me, and again, you and I have a lot of shared lived experience, but I
We
think
do.
that this was definitely informed by your own lived experience and your own journey.
It was.
And
It was.
and I think the conclusion of that is your own, if you will, your own manifesto about where you are and how you see the
Correct.
world in this juxtaposition between faith and religion. And
Correct.
it just so happens, I see the world the same way. And I think many of us who've had parents who were in leadership in former church organizations, and it was so dogmatic.
Yes.
And you're like,
Really?
that song, Where is the Love, right?
Where's the
And
love?
so,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Black Eyed
And
Peas.
yeah. Right.
That I would say, thank you for sharing that, Jock. Like you said, we both have similar backgrounds with religion. That was one of the hardest episodes I had to record. Only because, like you just mentioned, I had to put all of that on film. Everything that I was taught, everything that my tribe instilled into me was put out there. Now I got some backlash from it, but I just wanted people to know that it's okay to re-examine everything in your religion, and no one is going to hell for doing it.
And for me,
That was my
and
biggest
Al,
thing of that
and
episode. No one's going to hell for it.
yeah. And for me, as a word nerd, I hear what you said about backlash. I'm going to call that feedback. I'm just going to say you got feedback.
Okay.
Because
Okay, I got
feedback
feedback.
is just information. Backlash sounds, and it may have been like judgmental or whatever, but I know that judgmental energy can't harm you based on how you're vibrating right now. So it's feedback. It's people
Okay.
giving you
Okay.
a response
I got some
to where
feedback.
they're vibrating. That has nothing to do with
Yeah.
you. It has everything to do with them. And it's a them thing, because it reminded me of when I had the conversation with my mother and brother, my brother still
Yeah.
is a pastor. My mother used to be an associate pastor. And I remember having a
That's right.
conversation with them when I just casually said, hey, you know what? It just so happens that I believe in science, and I believe the virgin birth is a beautiful story, but we know that
Beautiful
didn't
story.
happen. Yeah,
No, it
and in
didn't
fact,
happen.
when you look at history and in historical documents, Jesus, the Christ, was treated as a man until the Council of Nicaea, where they voted to make him a god. And so you can't unsee that. So I'm like, well, you know, and so sharing that with my mother and brother, who are both evangelical, was a very, very interesting.
I know.
It was an interesting experience because I'm like, you don't need to pray for me. I'm fine. I know I am connected with the creator just like you are. And I believe the original story, which was he was a great man. There are lots of great men who came into the earth, but this was not the result of uh, what is that called in mythology? Anthropomorphism. It is not
Yes, that's it,
a
man.
god taking a human life form to procreate with another human and create a superhuman. That existed in
Yeah,
Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology,
all
Indian
the all the
mythology, all the
mythologies.
mythologies. But that's not real, guys. And
That's not
so
real.
yeah, that, to have a philosophy that this is real life is like, yeah, nah, not even. So,
You know what,
and it's
Jock?
so interesting as you delve in this faith versus religion, that many of the people that subscribe to those practices and worldviews don't even know how the practice, how the belief, how the worldview even became established.
They don't know, and
They just
that's
blindly
the
believe.
matrix. They don't want you to know. They don't want us to
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Um, and Jock, that was like out of the sloth series, that was the least watched one. Like, I feel a lot more people need to rewatch that one
yeah.
because that is where we, like you said, we dived into everything you just talked about.
Hmm.
I was just like, well, you're telling me this, but then I got to believe this. You're saying this, but then this. How?
Right.
And I, even at an early age, it didn't make any sense to me.
Hmm.
And so anyway, I had to put that all that onto
Yeah.
onto
And so
filming that day.
so
So
Al,
that was hard.
I think that's a sleeper episode as well, because
Mm,
again,
it is a sleeper
hidden in
one.
plain sight. But it's interesting what our psyche does and tells us when it's like, we just have these blind spots as humans
Yes.
that it takes
Yeah.
quite a bit of effort to really push through and say, that is not reality. The reality of the
Yep.
situation is this. So,
Yep.
so yeah.
And I think I even said it in the episode, it's in bold print. I'm not making this up. Especially with the story
Exactly.
Adam and Eve. I'm just like, wait a minute. Let's re-examine this thing.
Right.
So
No,
yeah,
I
I agree
totally
there on
agree.
that. Let me see what
Totally
else.
agree.
Any other episodes you want to talk about? Because I have a few more I want to talk about.
Why don't you
Or
go through
no?
your list?
Let's see. Are we talking about more sleeper episodes? Okay.
You,
I would say I was
and
going
so
through some of the.
And Al, can I share something? I think
What's up?
it would be kind of interesting because I think you have a lot that there are quite a few that folks get to like take a second look. We named quite a few of them already, but I think you've got a lot of great nuggets in here. And for me, it's been
Let
interesting to
me.
see like the
Okay.
viewership energy.
Let me do viewership energy. Let's see. Oh, this was a good one. Um, episode 16, the I Am 369. Did you watch that one?
Oh, hold on. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I Am 369. That book really did change my life was because uh writing something, well, let me backtrack. 369 came from the Egyptians or Kemet, meaning that there are
Mhm.
Egyptian codes within all of our temples or of all of us.
Right.
But when we tap into the power of 369, meaning let's say you write an affirmation, like my affirmation, no, that's personal. I had an affirmation, let's say a few weeks ago. It was, I love you. I am love. Let's say that. I said, I am love. Now, when I write that 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and then 9 times before bed, guess what starts downloading into your body? Guess what starts downloading into your mind?
The love starts downloading.
The love. So, for people who are trying to evolve and change their thoughts, I that's why I did that episode, was to just start getting a journal and writing it. And then once you write it out, your soul is watching you do it. This is where the third eye comes in again. Your soul is watching you do it. So once you start writing it out, it's looking at the piece of paper. It's going to start projecting love into your mind. It's going to start projecting love into your body, and you're going to start projecting love out to yourself, out into the world. So that's why I did that episode. I am 369. What'd you think about it?
And so yes, and I was also thinking about that. Even we just got finished talking about faith and religion. While there are, let me say it affirmatively, there are universal truths that are embedded in the Bible, in the Quran, in the Torah.
Yes, there are.
And so what I'm reminded of is in the scriptures, faith comes by hearing. So writing it 3, 6, 9 times, that constant reinforcement is going to reinforce that image, that and that mindset that yes, you are loved, you are valued, you are appreciated. And so I think it's really interesting how in all of these, spiritual writings, that there are these universal truths, right? Along with some other
lot of
stuff.
Universal truth.
And so and so I think it's a journey, because we get to navigate, we get to explore without judgment.
Get to explore
what is true, what is resonating,
non-judgment,
me, and what are some things I can leave behind. And I think that's a good modality. It's a good practice for how we get to experience any of this information, right? That we get to come in with an open mind and an open heart. And like I always say, let's try it on. It's like trying on shoes.
Let's try it. That's it. Let's try it on.
Or it doesn't. Yeah. If you try it on and it works for you, then, continue. If you try it on and it doesn't work, then just leave it right where you found it. But no harm, no foul either way, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And, I also want to tell people this too about that episode. Thanks for sharing that, Jock. The book really stemmed from not only, like you just said, all of the ancient philosophies and different texts, but have you heard of Neville Goddard before?
Of course.
Yeah, I know you have. The power of imagination. The imagination has to come back online to create these affirmations. And when I was putting this episode together, I knew nothing about Neville. I'm going to tell you that now. But when I was reading this book, did YouTube start having his videos? And I'm like, who is this? He looked like a Hollywood movie star, right?
Right.
He was black and white. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And then I clicked on one of his videos and I'm like, oh my God, the author borrowed a lot of content from Neville. So if you guys never read the book, I Am 369, I would definitely pick it up. I'm still reading Neville's book, The Power of Imagination, but I want to tell the viewers out there too that, your imagination has to come back online. To create, it has to come back online. That's the only way we can have an adventurous experience. If you're still, like you said in the previous episode, still believing that you cannot do anything, you cannot create, you got to be perfect, throw that out. Power imagination destroys all of that. And when you start creating from here and here, do affirmations start coming out of you? Do you start writing things 369 times every day? I do it every day.
And I just want to add to that, how the universe decides to manifest your dreams and visions is none of your business. All you're required to do is just dream a big dream. And I think that's what people
letting go.
Just letting go. That's what people get tripped up. They're like, but how?
Yeah.
And it's like,
How?
that's not your job. Your job
No,
is to create, to ideate, to dream, to imagine, to envision. Let the
because they
creative
teach us in
process flow.
school.
Yeah.
You gotta do the who's, what, when, where's, and whys. Throw all that programming out.
Yeah.
You guys just let it flow out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's why
Thanks for saying that.
But in your podcast is really helpful that way because it reminds us the universe has been doing this quite literally forever.
Forever.
Since time immemorial, right?
Yes.
So they know more than we know. It
Heck
knows
yeah.
more than we know. So infinite intelligence is exactly that. It is infinite and it is all knowing. And so when we yield ourselves to that and just enjoy the journey, really
just enjoy
the journey.
It's a journey. It's an adventure.
It's an adventure.
Yeah, all that, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think if people really embrace that mindset, I think they'd be happier, you know?
Oh, absolutely. That was the whole point of the episode. I just want people to be happy with themselves and where they're at. And it's okay to be where you're at in life. And
it's totally okay.
Be enough.
Right.
Just be enough. That's it.
Right.
Let's see. Another episode that I really enjoyed doing was the Nada episode. Did you watch that one, The Sound of Life?
No, that's one I did not watch that one.
Okay. That one was all about
that's
sound.
That's one of the few I did not see. That was episode...
Yeah. It was episode 19, I believe it was.
Episode 19. Yeah. I didn't see that.
And I have watched the movie Awakenings with Robert De Niro and what's his name? The comedian Robin Williams.
Okay, yeah.
From 1990.
Okay.
And that after watching that video, after watching that movie, because Dr. Sayer back in 1968 or 69, he realized that when he played, classical music to his patients, their bodies came to life. And then when I started to research everything about sound with the Egyptians and the Hindu Vedic cultures, I was just like, okay, sound is a lot older than light.
Yes.
Can I share experience with you? The reason why I know that?
Absolutely. Please.
Okay, this is the time I was working with my past life regressionist. And it was another night.
Let me make sure I'm tracking with you. Your statement was that sound is older than light.
Yeah, sound older than light.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just going to say, for purposes of discussion, I'm totally intrigued, but I would think, just in my nerdy brain, that light is older than sound because, and again, it's going back to a worldview. In the beginning was the word.
Correct.
Again,
correct.
I still have to unpack myself from that, right? And let there be light, and there was light first before there. So please share with me. I am dying to know. And then this will be one of the few episodes that I didn't see that I will be going back and watching today.
Go back and watch it, man. You just said it, Jock. You said before light there was the word, and in a lot of ancient texts, was the vibration. And the reason why I knew that was because like you said, not only from our biblical texts, Hindu texts, other texts in the world, it says the same thing, that God made a sound and then light came. And the reason why I know that is because I had a vision before I put that episode together. I was back in a dark space and there was a vibration. And it was me and many other beings. I wasn't in this physical body you see now. And I was there witnessing the sound of God. And then there was a spark of fire. And then, like a firework, like a sparkler, like we used to have back in the day? That's exactly what the world looked like at the time. It was like the spark. It just kept going off, and then it stopped. And then, as the text always say, boom, light fired and everything went out to the universe. And so, that I didn't tell people that in that episode, but that is how I knew that sound was older than light, because there
Mm.
was a vibration before light even came about. So that's what that episode stemmed out of, was that experience that I was shown at that time.
That is so beautiful. First of all,
Yeah.
that is awesome.
Yeah, so that's why I think I don't know what episode I said it in, but there was an episode where I let the viewers know that I know I'm older than this universe, and I didn't get into why I I knew that, but yeah, I was watching this inception of the universe happen, and that was the vision I was shown at that time. So
So
yeah,
Al, this brings me
that's
to a question.
go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch that as soon as we finish recording this. Do you I believe that truth, some elements of truth they reside within each and every one of us.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely,
so as we're going on this journey, when we encounter truth, it resonates, right?
it
We may not know
resonates.
how to process it. We may not know where to categorize it, but we're like, this feels like there's some substance here that I don't need to ignore this. I need to lean into this. There's going to
Yeah,
be more here. Do you have those experiences as well, Al?
I do have those experiences. There are things that I cannot explain, and I try not to find its inception of where it came from, but I do have those same feelings. Yeah,
Mhm.
just cannot explain it. Yeah,
Do you think it's helpful for us when we create community, like community that you and I have, that we've had this community, this relationship for 20 years or more? Do you
yeah,
think the benefit, one of the benefits is that we get to share our truths, because there may be things that you have experienced that you absolutely know to be true, things that
yeah,
I have experienced likewise I absolutely know to be true. And because we have the relationship, the rapport, the trust, um, that I'm willing to take a risk and say, "Hey, Al, this is my lived experience. I haven't shared it with
yeah.
everyone. But I want to share it with you, just to give me feedback on it. Do you resonate with this? Do you relate to this? Do you have a completely different experience? You know what I mean?" And so
No,
I that's another benefit I see of your podcast and your podcast community, because you have created a global community of people
yeah,
who
man.
get to communicate and get to uh, be honest about how they're
Yeah.
experiencing this life journey, you know?
No, Jock, you are absolutely right. When we start talking and coming together, I'll say this. There's what, 7 or 8 billion of us on this planet?
8 billion as of this morning.
8 billion out of the morning. Think about it. And to you and the viewers out there are 8 billion individual dreams happening simultaneously, which means every single one of us are living a different dream life. And when we start combining our dream lives, we all start having multiple dreams, a shared dream together. So this is where I feel oneness is never really explained, is when we do start coming together, we start having more shared dreams. And when we start sharing our dreams together, do we start growing, expanding a little better or a little more, when we all stop, you know, being individuals, just stepping out of our dreams for once and stepping to someone else's dream and see what that's like. And I feel like you said, I feel like with these communities, can we start comparing notes? I experienced this, or I experienced that. And then we reflect on what was said between both dreams and see if there's commonality there. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I can't believe it came out of my mouth, but it did.
I believe it because I believe it because I know you and celebrate you. So of course it
Let's see. I think the other episode I want to talk about is episode 21, Adventure to Freedom. Did you watch that one?
I did watch that one. Yes.
Okay. Adventure to Freedom. I'm just gonna say it. That was me actually living as my inner being wants to live. That was like my declaration uh, to living out loud. I'll say that. Did that come across to you when you were watching it?
As someone that knows you, abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah.
Okay, good, man. That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah.
One of my favorite, and I felt it was your declaration of who you get to be. It was a declaration of joy. It was a declaration of liberation. It was a declaration of who your identity was. And for someone, again, who's been with you on this journey for 20 years or more, it was beautiful to see that. And I'm gonna use your word, that point of your evolution.
That evolution, man.
I was like, oh my God, this is the reason I love this motherfucker. That's what I really said. But we can make that nice for people.
Thank you for saying that. And to you and the people and the viewers out there, I honestly was not going to do it. And should I tell you why I wasn't going to do it?
I want you to tell me why. I want you to tell me why you chose to do it.
Why I chose to do it. I think I've said this in the episode too. I was looking for new content and nothing was coming up. And then as I'm washing dishes that morning, one morning before the episode, freedom, came to mind. That was my meditation for the day. So I wrote out, I am freedom. Kid you not, I ride my bike to the gym. I didn't tell people that. I haven't told you that either. I ride my bike to the gym. So my headphones are on. I lock the door. First song that comes up on Pandora is Freedom by George Michael.
Of course.
And of course, right? So I took that as a universal sign that, something is, myself is talking to me. And so that one clip where he says, there's something inside of me, there's someone I forgot to be. That is what spurred the whole entire episode. And then that's when I was working out at the gym. Everything I just talked about in that episode came out. And I came home. I think I wrote it out maybe a day after, and then I recorded it. And so me singing that song on camera, I wasn't going to do it. I was going to let George Michael take over. But I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to live out loud, then I need to do it myself. So that's how the episode came about, was that song. And that's how I started declaring my freedom. And
well, I'm so glad you did. That was such a powerful episode for anyone who watched it. It was certainly very powerful for me, especially because I know you and I know all the different doors that you stepped through to be completely vulnerable and transparent. And I just, I love you for that. Yet again, reason number 328, why I love Al Harvin.
Oh my God, bro.
But
and then also in that episode, I didn't tell anyone, but I let out my inner alchemist. I found that out in the past life. Hermetic philosophy, the Kybalion, all of that stuff came out. So it really was, like you said, a new identity was established in the Road to Freedom episode. Yeah. So people haven't watched it yet. I was highly suggest go back. Yeah. And go watch it.
So
let's see.
So Al, what's in store for the next coming program year as you are thinking about year 2? What are you seeking to create for your community?
I'm seeking to create more of a conversational style like what we're doing today. I will still, have my own one-on-one episodes with the audience, but now that I know I could do it, I want to start having more guests on. And I've been reading a lot of books, and there's a few authors that have already agreed to coming on the show and talking about their books. And the books that I've read, man, I feel like it's really going to help people to change their thoughts, actualize, and just improve their lives with these books. And that's the next steps. It's just bringing more people on, bringing more guests on. Like I said, I would still do my episodes, but I really want to start bringing more people on to share their perspectives.
Definitely excited for that, and really, really excited about you exploring more, because I know you and I are both big Joe Dispenza fans.
Totally.
I'm looking at 2026 attending one of his events. I would love to attend one of your events as well. I think we could create some beautiful energy in San Diego, and you and I have talked about. I mean, your footprint is the world, so doing some things where we bring in folks to a beautiful location and just enjoy life and wellness and great food and great wine and great energy and great yoga, I think would be an awesome experience. And so count me in wherever you're going to be.
Okay. You know what, Jock? I'm glad you said that. Speaking of wine and alcohol, I don't know if I shared this with the viewers yet, but when I was waking up, I thought I had to get rid of booze and alcohol altogether. But what I actualize is, we are still humans at the same time. We can still enjoy the fruits of this world. So it's just like you don't have to cut off things you enjoy doing. You just have to like I feel, just minimize it, control it. Once you're more of a awake individual, can you start to control a lot of your drinking like I have? I know I've shared this on the show. Like when I met you, there wasn't booze that I want to touch. Let's just say it. Let's just freaking say it.
We were younger and it was a different part of our journey.
Yeah, man. It could be gin, rum, vodka, whatever. It was going down. But now
I remember the Incredible Hulks, which was Hennessy.
Oh God,
Hypnotic. And Hypnotic. So Al and I used to go to. There was this club in San Francisco called Blackout.
Blackout, yes.
The Pendulum. So that's how
the old pendulum.
We go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, old San Francisco. Yeah, man. So
San Francisco. Yeah.
Good old San Francisco. There was a time, but I just want to tell people to know that even though we do evolve in these spiritual journeys, it's still okay to have a glass of wine. It's still okay to have this. Still okay to have that. But you got to know what you're doing. I feel like people need to know what they're doing because, like today, I decided to have some champagne, but it's not my whole entire day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's next steps. I don't know. I think that's everything I want to say.
Okay. Well, I just want to say again, congratulations. I am so honored to be your anniversary guest. I love you. I adore you. I've always loved and adored you. I am so proud of your journey. I'm so proud of what you are creating. And I'm so proud of the world that you are showing the way to others and for others. And it's just, it reminds me that the universe got it right when we connected 20 years ago. I'm just,
absolutely.
I loved you then. I love you now. It's always been, it's been a positive momentum forward for you and celebrating your journey.
Yeah,
and so thank you so much for I'm glad that we attracted each other into our vibration. And I feel like 20 years in, we're just getting started. I think there's more great.
We're just getting started, man. I agree. I think one more episode I want to talk about is, did you watch episode 7? The Night of the Iguana? Wait,
yes,
Night of the Iguana.
I had a note that we were going to say
something
about the Night of the Iguana.
Okay, I'm so glad we did. Okay, so this is the last episode we're going to review, and then we'll do our goodbyes, and then we'll wrap these things up.
Episode 7, yeah.
Episode 7, I was in Cancun, Mexico on a layover, and what I want to say about the Night of the Iguana is, it's a movie. Did you watch that one from back in the day? I know you watched it. 1964, Ava Gardner, Richard Burton. it was all about transmutation. It was all about, because if you realize Shannon, when he started the movie, he wasn't the same person that he was when he
Right.
left
Right.
with Maxine. So it's just like, I wanted to let people know that I love classic movies, but within the side of a classic movie, do we start to learn a lesson that when we start to re-examine our behaviors, when we start to re-examine what we say to people, can we have this catharsis, and then we start evolving ourselves into more perfected form. And I felt like that was my night of the iguana. That was my shift to tell people that, I did some breath work before the episode. Did I tell you about that? I don't think I did.
No, you did not.
I did not. I on one Thursday night this time last year, I went to this Vitality event. I think he still does them, but I don't think he does them a lot anymore. But we did a whole bunch of breath work. And the reason why we were doing breath work in different rhythmical cadences was to start releasing trauma, stress, anger, envy in the body, and to just push it out. So that's where my Thursday Night Live came from, was doing that breathwork experience workshop, and then pair it with the movie. That episode was born. So yeah, that's how that episode came about. And I know it's all audio. That was for a reason. I didn't want people to look at me the whole time. I wanted them to just really focus on what I was talking about. And what I was talking about was transformation. Yeah.
Got it.
So that's another episode everyone needs to check out. My Thursday Night Live. Jock, anything else you want to say before we start wrapping things up? What do you think?
I other than the fact, again, just to reiterate, that it's been a beautiful journey over the last year, and I'm looking forward to many, many more years of seeing how you have impacted this space. And thank you. So thank you for finding the courage to break into this space. Thank you for sharing your truth. You are a blessing to me, and a blessing to all of your fans and viewers. And I'm excited, Al. I'm so proud of you.
I'm excited too.
Again, just so proud of you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jock, for joining me on this 1-year anniversary. And I just want to say thank you to you for doing this today. I know it was a last minute reach out, but like I told you over the phone, the universe gave me your name. So when you said, yes, I'll do it, Al, and I told you the recording day, I'm really just appreciative for you carving out almost about an hour, 45 minutes of your day to do this. So thank you for celebrating 1 year. And thank you to everyone else for joining me on this 1-year adventure. If you haven't checked out my episodes, everyone, there's 23 videos. You can start with 1, go to 23. You can, like Jock said, sometimes some of my titles for the videos can capture your attention. You can just start anything. The only thing that is a progression is the Sloth series. So if you guys want to check out the Sloth, start with Somnus, Fedete et Religio, and then go into Espergishki Mini, which is Awakening. So that is my whole journey with everyone, guys. Hopefully this resonates with a lot of people and keep touching more lives, touching more hearts. Episode 25 is going to come later on in September. I am still working on that. That is going to round out the Egyptian series, where we're going to finish up Ani's adventure into the underworld, or into Duat. I'm still working on it. It's a lot. Ani takes quite a journey, but that's going to be episode 25. And like Jock just said, next year in 2026, hopefully I'll be blessed enough to offer people physical workshops, physical retreats that we can go to. And Jock, hopefully you'll be involved,
because you do great things out there too. I promise you I'll be.
We're gonna get everyone touched into themselves, and I have so many people, including you, Jock, to reach out to. So we're gonna make this happen in 2026, and that's all I have to say about it.
You heard it here first,
Jock. This concludes the episode. To all the listeners out there, everyone, Jock and I did not have any show notes. I mean, we might have had a few things here and there, but this was all love. It was just all questions and answers. All love. And we were catching up. We're just catching up. So, Jock, the viewers, thank you for this fun episode. My 1-year anniversary of my podcast, Divine Lux Soul. Thank you, everyone. Let's continue to touch each other's lives, share more dream experiences, and I think we can evolve into better people. As always, I leave with the show is stay curious about yourselves and be curious about other people as well. So thank you, everyone. Jock, thank you for being my first interviewer, our guest.
My pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. All right, everyone. Have a really wonderful day. Have a great weekend and happy Labor Day weekend. And I also want to say before we leave, if you guys do come across people who are working on Labor Day, please say thank you to them because they don't have to be there. So once again, guys, show some more gratitude. Thank the people who you come in contact with for working on that day. And again, thank you, Jock. Thank you, viewers. All right. Thank you.